session on Prospects of Secondary Agriculture on Sustainable Livelihood by Dr. R. Hanchinal, former Vice Chancellor, University of Agricultural Sciences, Dharwad. I request Ms. Neena P.K., Assistant Professor, UG Department of Zoology, to introduce our speaker and moderate the session.
Respected dignitaries, invited guests and delegates, I'm delighted to welcome all of you to this session on the topic, Prospects of Secondary Agriculture for Sustainable Livelihood Security of Indian Farmer. It's my privilege to introduce to the gathering Professor R. Hanchinal, an eminent researcher and academician par excellence. He is currently a DVV expert at NAC Bangalore and the director of Mahendra HZPC, Kaveri Seed Company Limited and Narenkat Sugar Mills Limited. Professor R. Hanchinal has served many prestigious organizations across the globe in various capacities. He is the former chairperson of Protection of Plants, Varieties and Farmers' Rights Authority, Government of India. His efforts were instrumental in promoting capacity building in Indian agriculture universities, establishing community seed banks to protect biodiversity, creating awareness on farmers and plant breeders' rights, and promoting research and patents. During his successful tenure as the Vice Chancellor of University of Agriculture Sciences, Dharwad, his foresightedness and determination led to the establishment of a new agriculture college, promotion of infrastructure developments in agriculture research stations, and introduction of new programs with focus on skill development and employability. He has rendered his valuable service as the advisor to Indonesian government for the development of food crop research and as the senior seed production specialist under the USAID West Africa Seed Alliance. He was the research fellow and consultant of Bioversity International Rome and senior national short-term expert in Indo-German Seed Development Project. Professor Hanchinal has made significant contributions in the field of plant breeding with 8 patents to his credit. He has developed 23 varieties, 3 of which are registered at ICAR, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. He envisioned the modified seed village concept, which is popularly known as the Dharwad model, for selecting and adopting potential villages for seed production. Professor Hanchinal is a fellow of many academic and professional bodies like National Academy of Agriculture Sciences, National Academy of Biological Sciences, and Bioversity International Rome. He served as the consultant to Cornell University for implementation of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation project in Nepal and Africa, and the SST project in 10 African countries. He worked as a member of Farmers Welfare Commission, Planning Commission Task Force, Government of Chhattisgarh, and the Krishi Niti Karnataka. He has published over 418 research papers and guided 28 students for PhD. He is the recipient of 27 national and international awards, which includes the Borlong Global Trust Initiative Gene Stewardship Award and the Certificate of Appreciation from the World Bank Group. It's a privilege to have Professor R. Hanchinal amidst us today. On behalf of the entire St. PHILOMENA'S fraternity, I welcome you, sir. With deep sense of reverence, may I now request sir to take over the session.
Respected dignitaries, the delegates, the principal and the management of this great institution, and my very affectionate student friends. It's a great privilege and honor for me to be here and share the knowledge on agriculture, which you may feel little bit different, but practicing every day. Thank you very much once again for the introduction by Madam. I am very grateful to all of you for this. Now, for another 1 hour, 15 minutes or so, I will be speaking on the agriculture for sustainable livelihood security, which also covers the secondary agriculture. As you know, in India, about 17% of the world population is in India. We are presently number 2. Any time we may become number 1 with respect to population, in the sense growing population, for which food is very much needed. The food security is important. Then the nutritional security is also very, very important. And if you have food and nutritional security, then you will have the health security. And if you have these three, food security, nutritional security, and health security, then definitely economic security will be there. And if all these 4 securities are there, then this societal security is there, which is very, very important for us. You may be knowing in the neighboring countries, lot of unrest and many other things. This is mainly because there is no food security and nutritional security to them. And everybody needs food. So I thought I must select the sustainability of agriculture to speak here. And in India, if you take 1947 as the base year, we used to produce hardly 50 million tons of food. At that time, we were always looking for the Western world for food. So that what I call it as ship to mouth, in the sense when ship brings the rice, wheat and other food grains, then only we used to survive. Otherwise it was a very difficult task. But today, after 75 years, now we are from ship to mouth to surplus to export. Now we are exporting many of the food grains, including the horticulture crops. This is mainly because of the efforts made by our scientific community, farming community, and the policy makers. That's how we could achieve now almost 328 million tons of food production this time, and the almost 342 million tons of horticulture production, which includes fruit crops, vegetables, medicinal and other crops. So this green revolution, which started with wheat and rice, just 1 minute I'll tell about how revolution started. During 1950s, we were struggling very hard for food security. Not only ourselves, the entire globe. But we are unable to make any breakthrough in production, particularly in wheat and rice, which are the major staple crops. A invisible dwarfing gene present in Daruma wheat, which was grown in Japan, was transported to Washington State University, and there this Daruma gene was first transferred to winter wheat and then went to Mexico, and there this gene was transferred to spring wheat. That's how the Green Revolution took place. So this, whatever the Mexican wheat varieties at that time we were receiving, and which used to give almost double the yield. This is how this brought Green Revolution. Like that, in case of rice, DG Ujin gene from China, that brought the Green Revolution. So this is how we could able to export, that's what, ship to mouth, to surplus flow to export, we could make it. And then, till last few years, still last about 6 years back, we're in short of pulses. You see, these pulses are very important for, again, the nutritional security, particularly the protein-rich diets. Those who are vegetarians, it is very much needed for them. And actually, we are importing about 6 to 7 million tons of pulses from outside. Importing 6 to 7 million tons, in the sense that much foreign exchange we used to give it to other countries. So because of, again, good efforts, now we are self-sufficient. Not only self-sufficient, we are surplus, and now we are ready to export the pulse. Now we are producing almost about 27 million tons of pulses. But the problem we are facing still is the oil security. Now, because of the Russian and Ukraine conflict, really we faced the oil problem, and somehow now we are attending to achieve the self-sufficiency in oil security also. We have sufficient milk and milk product to take, and also the fisheries blue. So that's why we say white revolution and the blue revolution also we could achieve. And just as I'll give you, I shared about the green revolution and food security. We used to produce about 5 million tons of wheat during 1950s. Today, we are producing more than 116 million tons. Just imagine so much increase in the productivity. It is almost about 140% increase in area, 799% increase in production, and 274% in productivity, that is the yield gain that we could achieve. This is a tremendous improvement that we could make. Same case with maize. When we got independence at that time, hardly about 5 quintals per hectare productivity was there, and today it is more than 3 tons, that is 30 quintals productivity. This is only because of the continued efforts made by the plant breeders, agronomists, pathologists, farming community, and of course the policy makers. That's how we could achieve. In the recent years, by using the biotechnological tools, we could achieve a great success in fiber crops like cotton. We are the first to develop intraspecific hybrid and interspecific hybrid, that is Gossypium hirsutum into Gossypium barbadense. Those hybrids really revolutionized the cotton cultivation, but because of the excess use of the pesticides, particularly parathrites, our yield levels suddenly drastically reduced. And at that time, we were in the verge of importing cotton from outside. And thanks to again scientific community, because of a single gene, Bt gene, Bacillus thuringiensis gene, incorporating into cotton varieties, that brought resistance to insects, that is Helicoverpa armigera, and again our productivity is almost about 600 kg per hectare, which was hardly about 300 kg per hectare, thanks to the scientific community, the biotechnologies and all. And like this now, India ranks first in the world for the production of, as I said, milk, now pulses also, ginger, which has a lot of medicinal values, banana, guavas, papaya, mango, and second in rice and wheat production after China, and USA in case of wheat, rice in case of China. So like that, we are doing very well with respect to the production of the fruits and other vegetables. But again, with so much production and productivity increase, still farmers' economy is not to the expected level. And still the farming community are facing a lot of problems. You might have heard in news and also seen in the papers. This is mainly because sustainability for each and everything is very important, and the theme of your conference is also the sustainability and well-being, digital transformation, sustainability and well-being. Here also in case of agriculture, everything applies here. So now what the farming community did was, say, rice gives very good yields, wheat gives very good yields, then they started rice wheat rotation in North India, using excess fertilizer, excess irrigation, which we call it as monoculture, and in southern parts of India, in Karnataka particularly, started cultivating only sugarcane, rice, because these are the two crops which give more yield, but we applied excess fertilizers, nutrients, and gave irrigation. This imbalanced fertilization, then monoculture, excess irrigation, and indiscriminate use of pesticides to control the both insect pests and the diseases really brought lot many problems to us. The first problem was decline in productivity. The production, if you ask somebody, the sugarcane farmers, before growing sugarcane, how his condition was, and when he started cultivating sugarcane, what were the yields, and now what are the yields. I made one small analysis in Belgaum district. There is a factory called Ugar Sugar Works, started in 1938. At that, farmers used to get 100 tons per acre, that is 250 tons per hectare. Today, the farmers are unable to get even 20 tons per acre or 50 tons per hectare. This is the condition. This is mainly because of excess use of irrigation, which led the soil, full of salinity and alkalinity, and also the micronutrient deficiency, and lot of water logging problem is there, and groundwater depletion, particularly in Andhra Pradesh and the Telangana, this is a major problem. And also, this brought in new pests. White flies in cotton we had never seen, but because of the discriminate use of parathrides, we could invite the insect, that is the white fly, that led to the decline in the yield. As I already said, because of the irrigation, excessive use of the inorganic fertilizer, not organic fertilizer. Now, out of 328 million hectares, about 20 hectares land became degraded. And this also because of deforestation. Everywhere you find deforestation, desertification, and soil erosion, and many other things. Now, decline in natural resources has affected the agricultural progress in the country. This landslide problem, you might have seen everywhere. Last year or before last year, in Coorg, because of the excess rains, the landslide problem was a major event, and many families washed out there because of the land. This is the landslide. And again, in Western Ghats, you find a lot of these problems. This has very much affected the agriculture. And also, deforestation has created a lot of problems. Even here also you can find man-animal conflict. Now, the animals, wild animals, they are not in the forest, they are coming to your home. Particularly in southern parts of Karnataka, you might have seen all these cheetah and other things coming to your home and troubling the animals as well as the human beings. Water resource. I shall give you, when I was working as a fellow in Mexico, International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, there the director once he took me to a place where beautiful pyramids were there. Before the Egypt pyramids were constructed here, and the all ruins of the ancient culture was there. I asked, sir, what has happened? Why it is like this? He said, they used to grow the maize, which was the staple crop there, and used to give lot of irrigation, and because of that, groundwater they depleted completely, and even for drinking they did not get the water. Then they shifted from there to other places. So water is very, very important. Hardly about 2.7%, you can say 3% of the water is available for our use, drinking, then industrial use, then for agriculture. Other 97% is seawater which you cannot use. Even if you want to use, like Gulf countries, it is a very costly affair. And for all these things, protecting our biodiversity is very, very important. Biodiversity means it is a very generalized term which includes plant biodiversity, animal biodiversity, the aquatic biodiversity, and microbial biodiversity, like that. All diversity, the biological diversities are called as the biodiversity. Where agriculture crops are included, then it is agro-biodiversity. And we are making a lot of efforts, like the one you find, it's not Kantara. Actually, it is very much, this is very much seen in Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh, particularly the Jagdalpur area, forest area, they worship the forest like this. This photo was taken almost 2017. 2017, your Kantara came, I think, last year. So this is not Kantara, that's why I wanted to say. So this is called as sacred forest, and somehow we have to protect our forest genetic resources, not only for our use, but for the use of our, our future generations. When I talk of biodiversity, we are talking only of above the ground biodiversity. But I would like to impress upon you here that below ground biodiversity is more than the above ground biodiversity. That is, which you cannot see because it is in the soil, in the ground. And here, particularly the invertebrates and microorganisms, they really play an important role, maybe prochuras or some other organisms I have given here. So they actually convert the soil and increase the fertility status. You see, I would like to give you a small example. If you want to, your home garden, kitchen garden, if you scrape all the upper 6-inch soil and plant anything, it will not survive. Because the upper 6-inch soil is very, very important for the survival of the plants. And this upper 6-inch soil formation, including the fertility status, took millions of years. That's why the destruction process is very easy, but constructive process is very difficult. That's why, so always we have to give importance for the protecting our Mother Earth and soil. And regeneration is also very, very important. And Radale, when Dr. Radale, he said, healthy soil means healthy food means healthy people means healthy society. If your soil is full of fluorides, you cannot drink the water. If you want to drink the water, you invite lot many disease and health related issues. That's why the protecting the soil biodiversity is equally important as compared to the above ground diversity. That's why we say the loss of world's fertile soil and biodiversity along with loss of indigenous seeds and knowledge pose moral threats to our future survival. I'll come about the farmers' varieties and the local varieties. For example, Nanjangud banana. You cannot see Nanjangud banana like taste with other bananas. Here in this region, you grow Rajamudi rice. That is a farmer's variety. The rice prepared out of this is excellent, good aroma. You cannot taste the other rice. In Srinagar, when I was the board member of the university, I used to go there, and there I could see one variety called Kamat. If a lady prepares rice in her house, about 200 meters away from that, you get a very nice aroma. By looking to the aroma itself, we used to feel like that we should go there and eat that rice. So these are the farmers' varieties developed by our ancestors, and lot of indigenous value, traditional knowledge is there. I should like to give you some examples. In Konkan region, that is in Ratnagiri area, there is a rice variety called Sarvat, which acts as antidote for poisonous snake bite. Nagarahav ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಕಡಿದ್ರು ಇದನ್ನ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you will be all right. So this antidote problem they have. And in Kerala, there is a variety called the Nawara rice that has a lot of medicinal values. In Manipur, then Meghalaya, that side, they have black rice. Even in Chhattisgarh also, this black rice is rich in ferrous content and also zinc content, which very much helps the ladies, particularly in pregnancy. Anemia problem is solved. So such many things I can give example. So these are our treasures and which you may not find with the Western world. That's why. So regeneration of soil is very important. That is, we should not cultivate too much, in the sense minimize the disturbance, minimize the use of chemical inputs, maximize the biodiversity, in the sense all along the bunds you plant some trees and you should have to have animals, and also keeping soil covered with crops along with some other fruit forest trees, which actually avoids the soil erosion problem. Like this, the regeneration of soil, I feel, is very, very important. And you know, in colleges, NAC grading, you get more NAC grading if you have roof water harvesting, groundwater harvesting, then again bore recharging of bore, etc. So why that has been made compulsory while giving NAC grading to the universities and colleges, esteemed colleges like this, is to make awareness about the importance of the water along with other things which I am not covering. So whatever the rainwater that we receive, a single drop should not go to the nalas or the rivers. Your soil should absorb the water, and then the extra water only should go to rivers. So that's why, and in your field, any rains come there, you should collect it. This is one of the example, particularly in very dry districts, northern districts like Bijapur, and of course in central districts like Chitradurga, this is very much applicable. And now let us see about the sustainable food production systems. How should be our agro practices? That is, to absorb whatever the rain water we get, we should have to have different types of system. I don't want to go in detail because it is too much technical. And again, in North India, particularly in October, November, December, it is very difficult to live there. I was in Delhi for 9 years. After that, I ran away from there only because of this destruction of particularly the paddy, after the harvest, whatever the paddy residue is there, they burn it. And because of that, burning of the paddy in Punjab and Haryana, that created pollution in whole of NCR region of Delhi. Instead of that, if you incorporate that residue to your soils, your soil fertility will increase, because this residue contains lot of nutrients. And this residue management is really very important. And there are different types of residue managements. Whatever the crop that you harvest, immediately, without burning, you incorporate that into your soils so that soil fertility increases. And there are some plant species like Gliricidia which act like manure. And if you cut them and just put like this, what I have shown here, certainly it will again increase the soil fertility status. And always your crops should be, your soil should be covered by crops so that there is no soil erosion, and also water evaporation is not there. And there are again different systems like intercrops. And crop rotation is very important. You know, all the legumes have nodules like what I have shown here. Can you see the nodules here? Not working. So nodules, this fixes nitrogen, and after growing the cereals, and if you rotate it with pulses, then it increases the soil fertility. So this is how the crop is with the good rotation. And again, for regeneration of soils and the land, the soil cover is very important. If the soil cover is there, then moisture absorption capacity is more and soil erosion is also very less. And in northeastern hills region, particularly the 8 states, Assam, Sikkim, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, and Tripura to some extent. What they do is, this year, for 1 or 2 years, they cut the forest and cultivate there and leave it or burn it and go to some other this one. That is known as shifting cultivation or zoom cultivation. That spoils the whole forest ecosystem. Instead of that, if you can have the terrace cultivation, certainly you can get good yields, and at the same time you can preserve the forest ecosystem. This is what just I have shown here, tea on the terrace raiser and the other crops like the cabbage or whatever it may be on the bench terrace, so that you can harvest both crops. And if your land is fallow, then at least you can grow some grazing fodder. Now India is facing almost 60% shortage of fodder and forage. And if you can do that, certainly this will solve the problem. Now, people talk about conservation agriculture. What is conservation? Conservation means whatever is there with your soil, so everything has to be conserved, used properly. Just I was telling about burning the paddy straw after the harvest of paddy. That will not only create environmental pollution, but also you are wasting your nutrients. Nutrients are burned there. So, and soil become degraded. For that purpose, if you conserve that without disturbing the soil, like what the person who is doing in tractor, cutting them, so then your fertility, it will mix with soil and adds nutrients to the soils. That's how it protects not only the soil fertility, but also the degradation problem is solved. And you might have seen in the stores, everywhere nowadays, organic food has become a fashion. If it is really organic food that you get in the stores, it is really very good. But if it is only label, then really it is not good. So that's why I thought I should tell something about the organic farming. What is that organic farming? Organic farming is one wherein the inorganic fertilizers like urea, superphosphate, or muriate of potash, or other inorganic fertilizers are not used there. Instead of that, organic manures like cow dung, FYM, or vermicompost, or green manures are used. And actually that protects the soil fertility status. How? It increases the soil carbon content. Soil carbon content is very important, not only for the soil fertility status, but for us also. So this is, and here, whatever the pesticides which are used, should not have to have the residues in the soil. And if you use botanicals, microbes, and other means, then certainly that protects our environment, and then get the good yield also. And what are the organic manures I told? That is FYM, farmyard manure, a compost. A farmyard manure is prepared in scientifically, that is known as compost. Vermicompost, you might have known, earthworms. Really, we call them as the regenerator of the soil. Then again, this sheep, goat, poultry, when they are grazing in the field, the fecal matter really increases the soil fertility status. And in recent years, a lot of research has been done there. You might have heard the words of Panchagavya, Jivamruta, biodigester, vermi wash, cow urine, amrutapani, etc. So here, what is Panchagavya? Just as you might have heard, some of you must have heard about this, particularly in areca nut and other things also they use. Panchagavya means that is the cow fecal matter, which we call it as a FYM, farmyard manure or cow dung. Then cow dung is mixed with cow urine, then mixed with little bit jaggery, little bit atta and water. So 5 things are added into that and allow for fermentation. Even in your home also you can prepare that for your kitchen garden. In the market, if you would like to purchase that, that is very costly. So you can prepare this. This is Panchagravya. And again, like that, in Jivamruta, they add even honey, little bit honey and jaggery in this. That is Jivamruta. And biodigester means the same one, they keep it for few days, 8 days or 10 days, where good fermentation takes, and then you can take it, apply. Vermi wash means when you cultivate, when you go in for vermiculture, vermi composting, and there, whatever the water comes out of that, we call it as vermi wash. And cow urine is very good. Even in some cases, in Ayurveda, they tell that if you drink a few drops of cow urine, it improves your health. This is mainly because antioxidant property, antimicrobial property, it is very rich. Ganga water, it is usually whoever go to the Ganga river, there, the temples and other things, there they bring water. This because even if you keep that water for years together, it will not spoil, because this water has antimicrobial property. That's why the quality of the water is good. And these are some of the just how we prepare vermi wash collection, how we take, then the compost unit, that is the compost unit, and that is the in the compost unit itself, whatever the water comes, that we call it as the vermi wash. Then again, the liquid manures called Jivamruta or digesters are prepared. And this person is preparing the Jivamruta. And this is really very helpful. I was also thinking that what these people say, but really it improves the production and productivity at the same time, improving the soil. Another one is they call Ghana Jivamruta. Ghana Jivamruta means this cow dung, whenever, this cow dung, every day they take the cow dung and put some atta, some jaggery, and also they sprinkler this urine, and then cover it with some tarpaul or whatever it may be. There, internally some reactions will happen and digestion will be there, and then it is made to dry and then make it powder, and then this will be known as Ghana Jivamruta. So this is like a taking from the digester. And that's why Government of India and even Government of Karnataka is promoting this organic agriculture and now natural farming. Now natural farming has become a big, discussions everywhere. This is mainly because without disturbing the soil structure, you are cultivating the crop. And microorganisms, they play a very important role. Nitrogen fixing organisms already I said, and these microorganisms maintain the balance in the biosphere and also helps in nutrient recycling. And some of the nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, then copper, magnesium, ferrous, molybdenum, zinc, etc. They are there in the soil, but they are not made available to our plants, that is in the non-available form. This microbes helps in mobilizing these nutrients and making available to our plant. This is a very important thing. And again, see, plant growth promoters you have heard, particularly the enzymes, hormones and metabolites, they all, because of these microbes you can get this. And biocontrol of insect pests. This is particularly used in case of the organic farming. I said the story of cotton before BT cotton came into existence. Because of the use of pyrethroids to control Helicoverpa armigera, actually that created another problem of white flies. So if you use these things, such problems will not be there. And also these microbes enhance the metabolic activity of plant, production of plant alkaloids and also natural metabolites. So these are many advantages we have with the beneficial microbes. We have to identify, isolate them and use it properly. And this is I told the microbes, how they fix the nitrogen. There is no need to apply nitrogenous fertilizers. If you properly manage and if it fixes the nitrogen, certainly your soil fertility will be rich. And this organic farming methods, proper water conservation methods, proper soil conservation methods, even degraded soil can be converted into fertile soil. This is one of the best example that we always quote, and we did that work. And how to enhance the productivity? Now all software engineers who are staying in Bangalore, fed up with the Bangalore day-to-day life, now they are turning towards their home. Even if they have 4 or 5 acres land, they want to cultivate their land to lead a healthy life. Under such conditions, you see, they are getting very handsome salary between 2 lakh to 10 lakh rupees per month salary. And once they come back, they should not be very much disgusted that they are very well off in Bangalore city like that. But here, we have to give some new techniques or technologies for enhancing the productivity. We should go in for technology-driven revolution that really helps. How that can be done? The crop diversification. Which are the important crops? Say for example, here, avocado we are not growing before. Now you find avocado in the market. Like that, new things are there. This is a sort of introduction and diversification. And promotion of high value horticulture. Just yesterday I was traveling from Shillong to Guwahati. There I could find lot of pineapple, very tasty, very, very sweet pineapple. And there, if we have the processing industry that can be processed into and brought into here for the sale. Like that, the role of extension agencies means technology is transferring in agencies is very important. Realizing this, Government of India has established about 723 Krishi Vijnana Kendras, farmer science centers. there. If you would like to do anything, you can go there and get the guidance from them. Say for example, in Mysore, it is in Suttur that Krishi Vijnana Kendra is there. And if you phone them, they directly come to your home and guide you how to take up this one. And also, the diversification of agriculture includes fisheries, then the livestock sector. In livestock sector, it may be poultry or piggery or the dairy, etc. And where you have good rains or good irrigation facility, in paddy itself, rice itself, you can cultivate fish also. That is an additional income. That is, we call it as diversification. And again, the different in the main crop, if you grow some horticulture crops, there is also a sort of diversification. That's why, so the agroforestry systems became very popular mainly because everybody wanted to cut the trees and make the land available for agriculture. So then we introduced that here different systems are there: agri, harti, silvi, pastoral, and silvi, harti, pastoral, like that, different systems. The forest crops will also be, trees will also be there, and you will be getting good income out of this. And again, the innovations in farm machinery and implements is also equally important to have the farm operations in a timely manner. And now coming to secondary agriculture. Secondary agriculture means whatever the produce you get that, if you add value to it, that becomes the secondary agriculture. That's what I call upscaling additional resource of income and to capture more value from primary agricultural outputs so as to attain the goal of doubling the farmer's income, which is the goal of the Honorable Prime Minister now. And how you can double the income? This is through innovative approaches. One of the innovative approach is the secondary agriculture. Here it also helps to mitigate or to face the climate changes, then adaptation and mitigation, and making the small farms viable and profitable, and also brings food security. And this really helps whatever United Nations have proposed the sustainable goals, and certainly this attains the attaining the sustainable development goals. The secondary agriculture very much helps. And here there are primary agriculture is cultivating the crops. Say for example, you are cultivating corn, that is the maize, baby corn, and then if you take it to the processing unit for processing, that becomes secondary agriculture. And then you take it to the farmers in market in a very nice pockets and other things, attractive way, that becomes the tertiary agriculture. I shall give small example of the foxtail millet, Citeria italica, which you call it as navane. You may be knowing navane. There, if you take immediately after the harvest of the crop, if you take it to the market without removing the upper husk, it costs hardly about 20 rupees a kg. And if you remove that husk through machines, then it becomes suddenly 80 to 100 rupees kg. And you pack it in a nice way and depicting all the nutritional value of that one, which has a lot of therapeutic value, particularly for diabetic patients. It is a very good thing, both type 1, type 2. And there, the value goes 150 rupees a kg. For example, this honey if directly you harvest it, it will be quite cheap. And if you process it and put it in a bottle, then again it double, the profit will be, profitability would be double. And if you make a very good package, then again it will be 3 times more than what actually the beekeeper gets. This is how the primary and secondary and tertiary agriculture plays a very, very important. And this also has an impact, very good impact, positive impact on seed production domain and nurseries for field crops, horticulture crops, then agroforestry species and floriculture. Because they are, the buyers are assured of the quality. And already I said the plant nutrients. This again comes under secondary nutrients, is maybe vermicompost or biofertilizers or biopesticides or botanicals. Your agriculture is main, and whatever the product that comes out of that, you are making it. So this becomes the secondary agriculture. And again, in organic farming and natural farming, the use of inorganic pesticides like DDT, of course it is banned now, malathion banned, monocrotophos banned, and other recent molecules, synthetics, that have the residue, pesticidal residue in the food, which causes many diseases, particularly like cancer and other things. But if you use these biopesticides, no residual effect on the soil, on the produce, and certainly because of that, you get a healthy food for the consumption. And with this secondary business, farmers can earn money. And very simple thing, if you harvest mangoes, raw mangoes, and go to market, you get a very less price. And if you prepare pickles and put it in a good label and other things, you get almost 2 to 3 times more rate compared to your mangoes. Again, the chutneys, particularly I have seen in Bangalore, the chutney which is prepared by homemakers in Bijapur and Gulbarga, then it will be aggregated by an aggregator or some person, and he makes a good pocket and he sells everywhere. The one chutney, 100 gram, which costs about 10 rupees, will cost in Bangalore about 120 rupees. You just imagine how much earnings is there. This is, we call it as secondary and tertiary agriculture. And that's how there are 5 different steps here. One is taking from the farm, then transport it to a processing unit and make it very good packages. That is 3rd step. And 4th step, take it to the big market, and from there it will be distributed. So this 5 steps from farm gate to consumer is very common nowadays, and this is how we have to involve ourselves for enhancing our income. And another one is waste management, agro waste management. Some about 8 or 10 years back, some retired IAS officer was telling me, whatever the vegetable waste is there from the vegetable market, in the early morning, immediately after this, he would collect that and then make biogas out of that and green manure. So just I gave an example. Like that, this wastewater, agro waste is useful for biogas, then it acts as a fertilizer, and even papers can be prepared, and so many things which I have mentioned here. So this is very useful. here only thing is that we have to take this as a business, and that too innovative business, technology driven business, then only you can succeed in this. There are many advancements and other things. This I would like to clip some of them, some of the slides. And particularly the organic farming, again I tell, if you do it properly, pack it properly, certainly there is a big business for you. And this, I said, production of compost, vermicompost and other things, they are also called as the secondary agriculture. And this is very useful, particularly in organic farming. And seeds also, if you grow crop with your own seed, you may not get good yields. And same thing, if you process it properly and pack it properly, and again treat the seeds with some of the microbial consortia, then it will be disease free in the beginning and you get good yield. So this is again we call it as a secondary sort of business. In India, particularly with seed systems, there is a great demand. Even you people, youngsters, can start your own seed business. Only thing is that you should have to have market skill. Need not have the knowledge about seed and other things, but market skills are there. Certainly, the entrepreneur, the seed industry will come and help you. Few years back, our business was hardly about only about 2 billion. It is $2 billion worth business. Now it is more than $8 billion worth business we are making, and the growth is, average growth is almost about 14% now. In the sense, what I would like to impress upon you is, it has a great potentiality with respect to seed business. And now India is 5th in number globally, but would like to come to at least 3rd in number. And if all of you join your hands, certainly it will be possible. And the institutions are there, Krishi Vijnana Kendras are there, universities are there, and also the government departments are, developmental departments are there to help you in this regard. And you have a lot of export potentiality of the seed, because seed is a basic input with which you can increase the yield levels to more than 20%. And with adding some organic or inorganic fertilizers, you can increase the yield levels to 50%. That is the strength that the seed has. So, and if you have the quality seeds of improved varieties and hybrids, and taken up sowing at right time, right place, certainly you will get good yields, and you can export that to different countries, particularly the SAARC countries and also the African countries. And there are different concepts. I developed one concept like the modified seed village concept, which became very popular not only in India but also the neighboring countries and Africa. And even this went up to the Indonesia also. So such new concepts are there, innovative concepts are there. Certainly, if you join your hands for this business, certainly it is very profitable to you. And farmers' varieties. Nowadays, lot of importance has been given for farmers' varieties. As I said in the beginning, they have a lot of therapeutic values, medicinal values, and if you make some improvement, I shall tell you, there is in wheat, there is a particular species called Triticum dicoccum, that is, we call it as dicoccum wheat. In fact, it is good for to the subjects of diabetes mellitus, for managing the diabetes mellitus disease, only because it is rich in proteins, that is more than 17%, whereas ordinary wheat has only 10% protein, rich in dietary fiber. And glycemic index is very low, and the satiety value is very high. What we did was, we incorporated dwarfing genes into this and developed the dwarf dicoccum varieties, which almost gave 150% more yield than what the ordinary dicoccum wheat used to give. That is, ordinary wheat used to give about 5 quintals, and this wheat about more than 20 quintals. So this is how the farmers, without farmers varieties, would not have developed this variety. So these farmers varieties are very useful. Looking to the importance of this, Government of India established passed an act in Parliament called Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Act. And there, farmers' varieties are being patented. Actually, we use the word registered, but to make it easy for you, I am telling the patented. For 5 years, I was the chairman of that organization to give the farmers' rights for such things. So if farmers' varieties, very good varieties you have, certainly you can make big business. Like the GI tag also, Geographical Indication Act gives GI tags. Your Nanjanagudu Bale, banana, it has got the GI tag. That assures that the Nanjanagudu banana grown in Nanjanagudu area, the quality is different when compared to the quality of the others. So like this, we have to take the advantage of these things, and through different models, community seed banks or community nurseries, you can multiply it and collect the seed and then market it in a big way. So, and of course, the biotechnology has played a very important role in increasing the production and productivity. I gave the best example of your BT cotton. Hence, in nutshell, I would like to say that there is a great potentiality in India as a general and Karnataka as a particular to make it as a seed hub, not only for Asia but also Africa, because we have very good diverse agroclimatic zones. You see, for example, if you go to Bijapur and Gulbarga, it is so hot, but if you come here, it is quite comfortable, and if you go to Bangalore, it is very cool. So this is the diverse climate we have, and if you go to the hill areas, there it is still cooler, Coorg area, it's still cooler. So you can grow different crops at different places, and whatever the Western world, they don't have such climate. I would like to just tell you here, the Europe, particularly Netherlands, seed companies, they come to Koppal area and they multiply the seeds there with the help of our farmers. And they purchase the seed at 100 rupees a kg of vegetable seeds. And they will take the whole thing to Netherlands. And then they pack it, process it and pack it perfectly. That 100 rupee a kg will become 1 lakh rupee a kg. Just see the business, how they are making. So instead of giving money to them, we can make that business harnessing the favorable agroclimatic conditions that we have. And we have strong research capability, agriculture research capability, and also scientific and commercial capabilities, and particularly not only the agricultural sciences, but the basic sciences are very much important for achieving all these things, particularly biotechnology and other things. And we have very good seed production capability. And another very important thing is the climatic conditions of our state particularly is very much similar to many of the African countries where I worked. And whatever the research that you make, whatever the innovations that you have here, or the products that you have here, or the genetics that you have here, it very much easily can adapt well there. And this can be taken as an advantage for making the agriculture as a profitable one. And there are different schemes that have been made. I think it is too much technical, but even then I would like to say that is OECD scheme. Under OECD scheme, any country can export seeds to the needy country without much difficulty. And this helps really for earning foreign exchange. And also, there is one more scheme called ISTA, International Seed Certification Agency, ISTA. And if you become the member, in fact, in India there are already 8 ISTA laboratories. And if you have the certification from there, you can export the seeds without any problem. So, the public-private partnership is very, very important, not only in education, but also in agriculture for promoting or enhancing the business and the profitability to our country. And another important thing which is very common here, sericulture, just I'll touch upon it. Sericulture is again considered as a secondary income. With your main farm income, you can go in for sericulture. Here, minimum investment is there, low gestation for 3-4 months only, and high employment potentiality. You can employ many people because it is a very job-intensive work, and highly remunerative. And you have very market very much nearer to you, that Ramnagar market, and you can earn a lot of money. And in fact, this has become very profitable one, not only in this region. Even I have seen the farmers from North Karnataka, they take up this business and they bring to Ramnagar market because it's a very big market, international market they say, and they sell it and they get good market. So this is along with your agriculture crops, that is a primary agriculture, secondary agriculture makes a good business out of this. And again, we have very good research going on right at Mysore itself. There is a Central Sericulture Research Institute doing very good work, not only on mulberry, but also the silkworm, and they have developed hybrids and also high yielding mulberry is there to feed them, and certainly it will help. And they will give you training free of cost. Even in home also, if you have hardly about a 10 feet, 20 feet space with little place to grow this mulberry, certainly you can grow it in home also. And another very important secondary agriculture business is the beekeeping. And this is really coming up very well in a big way. This beekeeping not only helpful to you for earning money, but helpful to the environment, helpful to the farming community. Say for example, in case of sunflower, without pollinators you cannot get good yields there. So bees act as pollinators and they take away the pollen from one flower to another flower, and because of that pollination also happens and you get good this one, the bees, honey also. And even in forest areas, those who are coming there also, you can have this business. This lady, she is a scientist at Sirsi. There is a Krishi Vijnana Kendra. She is demonstrating how to beekeeping business can be done at home, not in a this one. It doesn't require any much place. So this is a very and now everybody's standard of living has high, and everybody wants to take good food, and honey is again one of the very nutritious food I say, and medicine also with this is, and certainly this can be used, and that's why, and not only for us but also significant sustainable and environmental friendly activity will go on with this, and this adds income, and also it maintains the biodiversity and ecosystem, that is very important, and the environment equally, and this is how we have to do. And in addition to that, already I touched upon it, but also the fisheries, then piggery. Piggery is very popular in northeastern hills region. In a very big way they go. And the dairying, then poultries, and so many other things. They all add income to your farm income. That's why you call them as secondary income. And the only thing is that we should have to have good agro-processing units and also for value addition. And this agro-processing for home scale can also be done. And if you want to go in a big way, the government support is there in big way. And another opportunity is color cotton. Some people I have seen, if they use synthetic cloths and that too synthetic colors, they get some skin diseases, irritation is there. But naturally, natural color cotton, not only white, and even this brownish, greenish shades and different things, color cottons are available. A lot of research has been done on this, and certainly, in fact, our university where I worked for a long time, at University of Agricultural Sciences, Dharwad, we developed many cotton hybrids and varieties, color cottons also. They have become very, very popular. Now we are exporting the color cotton, particularly the fiber, to other countries also, particularly the Europe. And here, the eco-friendly dyes also can be prepared out of, we call this as vegetable dyes. Any crop you take, say for a green color if you want, there are some plants which you extract it and dry it, and that will give you green color. And again, this is a sustainable color and very friendly color, and the skin itching and other things, it will not at all happen. So this natural fibers and eco-friendly dyes has lot of future in the days to come. And this also can be considered as secondary agriculture along with your major agriculture. And again, flowers. Particularly in this region, everybody purchase flower, lot of flowers, particularly temple and other things, even for our aesthetic beauty also we use it. And here, what we do? We purchase today, next day we waste it, we put it in the dustbin. But flower waste management is very, very important for preparing the food products, particularly your rose, then also the making vermicompost, and also the manufacture of bioethanol, biogas, and also the udbatti. So there are many uses. So only thing is that we have to go in a very systematic way and innovative way, then you can earn this. You see, we have a community college at Dharwad. So here the teacher is demonstrating how to segregate the waste flowers and dry it and make a fine powder and then prepare the udbatti. So like this, there is a lot. In nutshell, what I would like to say is, there is a great scope. Another one thing I did not tell, from some of the plants, you can have the green nanoparticles, and that can be used particularly for innerwears to avoid the odor. I think this is my last slide, and certainly it will be, these nanoparticles can be prepared, the green nanoparticles, and it has a lot of potential use, and that can also be used. With this, I think we have the hidden wealth. Only thing is that though we are individually very strong, and if we work together, we'll become more stronger. For that, let us join our hands to make the secondary agriculture as most successful one, and which in turn increases the farm economy, and also consumers get good, the quality quality food. With this, I profusely thank all of you for providing me an opportunity to share my knowledge with you. If you have any questions, you are most welcome. Thank you very much. Correct, no? My time. Yeah. Under 10 minutes time is there for me. If you want any question, if you would like to ask any questions, you are most welcome. Isn't it? 10 minutes is there
Yes,
for
sir.
me.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us on a very relevant topic. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend our profound gratitude to Professor R.R. Hanchinal for sharing his valuable insights. Now we are open for discussion. Participants may ask questions and our resource person would answer.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much. It was very informative. So I have a doubt relating to that. While speaking about, you spoke about that BT cotton, isn't it now? So BT cotton, you said it's a pest resistant. Okay, it's good, and it can also increase the food production, everything. But even though our farming community is ready, they are not ready to accept it. Even when the central government and government of Karnataka, when they're ready to introduce about that BT cotton and BT brinjal, so they're strictly opposite about from the farming community. I wanted to know why they're strictly opposite about that. And this was one thing. And relating to one more question so we are all know that we are all suffering about that food scarcity. So after that, we were facing the food scarcity. So from after that means 1965, when Green Revolutionary was happened, we are able to fulfill our food productions, and we are reaching, because India is one of the largest population country. It is very essential to reach the food production, and we are reaching. India is it's reaching. Okay. So when our farming community is converted to it means because all are talking about that it means Savayava and other. So this is, if they converted to like that Savayava and other new things, so is it possible to fulfill that essentials, how much we require the food productions? Because if you convert it to that culture, it will, I think we'll going to face about that food scarcity. So what do you tell about these things?
Thank you very much for a very relevant question. First of all, I would like to drink water. Okay, just a minute. First, I would like to answer your not water, the BT cotton. You know, I gave the example. Any excessive use, some of you are the geologists, you understand particularly the insect, this one cycle and other things. If you use anything excessively, you may destroy certain insects, but other insects will again become prominent. That's how what happened with our original cotton, particularly in this, the Kapila River backwater. We used to get very good cotton hybrids, but now then everything was completely destroyed in the whole of Karnataka, not only in Karnataka, even in India. This is mainly because of the whitefly problem. That's what I said. And this Bacillus thuringiensis gene, that is a BT gene, which government of India did not accept during 1996. But it came with the private companies, and somehow they made negotiations with government of India and introduced. That really revolutionized the cotton cultivation. And now, coming to your question, those who are opposing the scientific innovations are everyday eating BT products. Every day they are eating. Say for example, soybean. Soybean, whatever you import, because we are not that sufficient, it contains BTG. Whatever you are eating, this maize pops, eating, they're all we are importing from outside, and it contains BT gene. And canola, that is the oil, contains BT gene. And why they are opposing to us, why they are not opposing for the food products, this second. And third one, when I was the director of research at our university, we started working on the BT brinjal along with the US, Cornell University, and we developed a variety. And it was totally free from your, again, the pod borer. That because of this only problem, hesitation, we could not release here. Government of India did not, GAC did not approve it. But Bangladesh approved it, and they cultivated and they became very successful. From there it is coming to India now. You see, good things you cannot stop it. And now what I would like to tell is, before releasing any transgenic varieties and hybrids or genetically modified plant varieties and hybrids, lot of rigorous testings are there. And only after that it will be released. You see, 1966 to 2000, the work went on with BT cotton, and 2000 it is released. Now it is 23 years. After 23 years, what has happened to it? Has anything happened to anybody with BT cotton? And even BT cotton oil also you are eating, unknowingly we are consuming. So I don't know what I have to say. Now I'm not with the Government of India or this one. I can very freely talk. There are some groups, NGOs, who would like to oppose, for whom somebody is supporting. And if when I was director of research, somebody came, the farmers, big farmers group, I don't want to name them, that after eating the leaves of this cotton leaves, BT cotton leaves, their goats died. But it was totally wrong. Totally wrong. We proved it. So like that, people say we should encourage the new technologies, new innovations, but at the same time, we have to test rigorously. US, BT, they are growing BT soybean, BT canola, and so many things. Even in Canada, they are growing. Only in Europe, they are conservative about this. Thank you. And second question you are asking about? Second question?
Food security.
Food sufficiency. You see, actually we are growing, our population is increasing like geometric proportion, but where our productivity is in arithmetic proportion. So actually, if we are not cope up with the increased population, then it becomes very worst. I tell you, in case of Pakistan, how much they are suffering now? They don't have food, mainly because they did not plan properly. Added to that, the flood devastated, and don't have money to purchase food from outside. Sri Lanka, neighboring country, just two best examples I can give. That's why food security is, I told one thing, food security along with nutritional security brings health security, and these three together bring the economic security, and these four together bring societal security. And if you don't have the basic food security, then societal security will not be there, and a lot of hesitations, so many things happen. So that's why this improvement, crop improvement is a continuous process. We had shortage of pulses few years back. Now we have self-sufficient and we are surplus to export. Like this, now oil. you might have just best example when this Ukraine, this Russian conflict was there. At that time, oil rates jumped tremendously high, and government of India has to intervene to reduce the rates. If we would have oil security with us only, we would have sufficient oil seed production, we would not have faced this problem. So that's why this security is very important. Any questions, please? Madam, they will not leave you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, my question is about, we are, in the 2 seasons, we are growing 2 different crops. One crop is foxtail, that what else you said in between, Navane, and the other is the chia seeds, which is a medicinal crop.
First one, what you are growing?
Foxtail, Navane.
Nowadays, foxtail millet.
Yes, the other is the chia seeds, which is a medicinal crop.
Which one?
Chia seeds.
Chia. Okay.
So for both the things, what the farmer community is facing is the price of the commodity.
Price of the commodity?
That is for the for 1 quintal. For 1 quintal, we will sell it for some 8 to 9,000. But the export, once we think about the export, it's about 50 to 60,000. That means there is a lag of around 50,000 between the farmer and the agencies involved. The farmers can be directly involved with the agency. Now you noted 2 such schemes. One is ISTA, another one is OEDA.
Yeah.
Can we do?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
That means in a small scale. We are not growing to the large scale for 2 quintals or 3 quintals. Can we make such agreement with them?
Yeah. It's a really very relevant and good question you asked me. First of all, value addition is very important. I said I took the example of your nowadays foxtail millet, Ceteria italica. If you immediately after the harvest, if you sell, you will go at 20 rupees a kg. And if you just remove the husk, little bit value addition, it will go to 100 to 120 rupees. And then you will sell the market. But another question he posed is, the middleman takes more profit than the farmers. For that purpose, Government of India has introduced a concept called the Farmers Producers Companies. As per this Companies Act 2013, even farmers can make a company, farmers producers companies. It is in between the cooperative societies and the limited companies. So that you can sell. And the farmers producers companies, the NABARD and Government of India is supporting in a big way, huge money they are pumping to make it successful event. And you can also establish, you can approach the NABARD and establish the Navane Farmers Producers Company. And then you can directly, commercially, they will help you, and AFEDA will help you for the export opportunities. Directly you can do. And certainly you can earn a lot of money.
Thank you, sir. With this, we are moving on to the concluding remarks. In this resourceful session on the topic, Prospects of Secondary Agriculture for Sustainable Livelihood Security of Indian Farmer, Professor Hanchinal stressed on the unprecedented challenges faced by the Indian agriculture sector, like land degradation, depletion of genetic diversity, natural calamities, human-wildlife conflicts, and the low-level incomes of our farmers, even after attaining significant degree of self-sufficiency. Sir emphasized on the need to diversify our farming practices to regenerate the soil, adopt eco-friendly practices like organic farming, secondary agriculture and conservation agriculture to attain sustainability, encourage young population to explore the wide prospects of agriculture, and initiate programs and policies to empower the farmers. As we wind up the session, I quote the famous agriculture scientist, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, "If agriculture fails, everything else will fail." It's high time we realize the synergy between food, energy, and environment, make efforts to ensure resource equity, food security, and environmental sustainability, and thus provide solutions to the biggest problems of our time. Thank you all once again. Thank you.
Mindful agriculture is one of the most healthy, useful, and noble ways to empower human beings. Thank you, sir, for the enlightening session about the many facets of agriculture. Kindly accept this memento as a token of our appreciation. With all the learning, it looks like our neurons will need some fuel to sustain all that is yet to come. Let's proceed for a lunch break. Delicious meals have been arranged for the delegates and the staff on the left-hand side corridor and for the students on the right-hand side corridor of the indoor stadium. I request everyone to kindly assemble back at 2 p.m. for a thought-provoking panel discussion covering an array of ideas and thoughts. Happy lunching, everyone.
Kindly note, the lunch is organized only on the left-hand side of the indoor stadium for all faculty, students and the delegates. Thank you.